Would you like your job to come to this office? Cool. You could just drop the charges now if you want. What's your name again?
John.
John.
B-O-N-C-H-A-R-D.
Nice to meet you, John.
Meet you.
Remember, we don't have to do this. We can all go home.
He's under orders. Would your boss get mad if you drop the charges, John?
Orders.
Please rise.
Please be seated.
The State of New Hampshire versus Lynn Ciarski.
If the parties are ready to proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. The State calls Deputy Chief of the Manchester Fire Department, Mr. Daniel Goonan. Sir, if you could please remain standing and raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give to this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, sir. You can please have a seat for us. And they're recording this today, so if I could just remind you to keep your voice up if you could. If you could please state your name and spell your last for the record.
My name is Daniel Goonan, G-O-O-N-A-N.
And how are you employed?
I'm a deputy chief with the Manchester Fire Department, currently in charge of administration.
Deputy chief being sort of the number 2 guy with the Manchester Fire Department? Do you have in your role as chief, do you say it was chief of administration or head of the administration?
Yeah, I'm considered chief of administration.
In your capacity as deputy chief of the fire department and head of administration, do you have access to the administrative files and documents with respect to actions taken by your fire department and your fire officers?
Yes, sir.
Did you have occasion to take a look at your business records with respect to Manchester Fire Department response, specifically on January 9, 2012, that morning, shortly after 10 a.m.?
Yes, sir.
And what information were you able to obtain with respect to action taken by Manchester Fire Department?
We were called at approximately 11:29 to assist the Manchester Police Department with removing some chalking.
Okay. From what location in the city did you go to? Do you know where the chalking was, where your crew responded?
35 Amherst Street.
And that is to be clear, that's the courthouse where we are now.
Yes, sir.
Did your crew from the fire department go to that location?
Yes, sir.
And upon arrival, what action, your internal business records show that what action was taken by fire department employees?
Looks like we spent approximately 15 minutes washing the chalk from the building.
And how is it that your employees physically accomplish that? How do you begin the process of washing chalk from the Manchester courthouse?
What we would do is would basically pull a line, a water line from the truck, and use as much water as we need to remove the chalk.
So a Manchester Fire Department fire engine arrived on scene?
Yes, sir.
And do you have an approximate number of Manchester Fire employees approximately that
for that
responded?
particular apparatus, engine 11, we have 4. We have an officer and 3 firefighters.
And do your internal business records, are you able to give us an approximate cost or value for the time spent during that time frame that you just mentioned at the Manchester court?
Sure. What we do is generally we charge $125 an hour. We spent 15 minutes, but we do have a minimum of 4 hours.
Okay, and is that when you say 125 per hour, is that the total sum per hour, or are you indicating
That's the total sum. That's the charge for the fire truck to respond, and as well as the manpower, because they were on straight time. In other words, they were working.
Okay, and did they accomplish? Does it appear from your paperwork
Yes,
that
sir.
they accomplished what they were?
It looks like
dispatched?
they accomplished that task, and then they called the highway department to provide a service by putting some salt down because it was middle of winter, safety reasons.
Thank you, sir. No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Ma'am, if you have any questions, would you please stand and ask them?
Yes, Mr. Goonan?
Yes.
Yeah? So, are you telling me that I did damage to a piece of property?
No,
Are you
no.
saying that there was damage done to the property, this property, 35 Amherst Street?
No, ma'am. What I'm saying is we were called by the Manchester Police Department to assist them with washing chalk from this
Were you there?
facility. No, sir. No, ma'am.
So, was there damage done?
Objection, Your Honor. That question is asking the fire chief to draw a legal conclusion that's strictly within the province of the court of Your Honor to make a call with respect to whether or not the testimony meets the elements of the statutory offense. So she's asking for a legal conclusion from the fire department.
Ma'am, you've heard the government's objection.
Okay. Okay, let me ask you this. Did your financial records indicate that there was damage done to the property?
My records do not indicate that there was damage done.
Ma'am, it's perhaps better if you're behind the desk where the microphone is, you're projecting forward and may not be picked up by the record. I will,
Are you, so Mr. Goonan, you mentioned that it took
Ma'am.
15?
ma'am, I will need you to stand because we're trying to keep track of who is conducting the questioning.
Oh.
So the manner in which we keep track of that, to make sure we know who has the floor, is to have the individuals asking the questions stand.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Goonan, you said that it took 15 minutes to wash the chalk off the building?
We're dispatched and we went back into service in 15 minutes.
What would you say if I told you that I have video of the chalk being washed off the wall and that it was nowhere near 15 minutes? It was probably less than 2.
What I'm telling you is that we were out of service for 15 minutes.
But the actual act of washing the chalk off of the building took. Probably in there.
Certainly could be if you have video.
I have video evidence. May I introduce?
I believe you.
Right. May I introduce the video evidence?
Is there an objection to that?
At this stage, because there's not been a proper foundation or authentication, and I don't think that this is the witness that can authenticate it and lay the proper foundation, because he's already indicated under cross-exam question that he was not personally present there at the time. So I don't think that there's a proper foundation at this stage. Certainly, it may be very appropriate to enter into evidence. Just at this stage, the requirements I don't believe have been met at this stage to enter video.
Under the rules of evidence, then, at this stage, if the foundation cannot be laid through this witness, ma'am, I'm going to sustain their objection.
The foundation that I'm trying to lay is that the financial records, obviously that were presented to Mr. Goonan as the deputy chief, were not necessarily accurate because it took less than 2 minutes for the chalk to be washed off, yet the financial records indicate that it took 15, so that's the foundation that I'm trying to lay.
Ma'am, I think you misunderstand his objection. His objection is to the rule, the 900 level of rules, under the rules of evidence concerning how to authenticate
Okay.
a piece, an exhibit.
Okay. No further questions.
Excuse me, is there a redirect examination?
Just to clarify, your records, the 15 minutes that you're referring to and the time associated, you said that equates to time that your engine and your employees were out of service, the total block of time?
Correct. When we're dispatched, we classify our dispatch based on what the emergency is. This was an alpha, which means that we went without lights and sirens, so it probably took us 5 minutes to get there.
Okay.
Took the lines off, packed the lines back up. So, it could have been, she could be correct, it could have been 5 minutes, it could have been 10 minutes. It's just the amount of time that we were out of service.
Thanks, sir. Nothing further.
Does that cause you to have any further questions, ma'am? Please step down.
Thank you, sir.
May the deputy chief be excused, Your Honor?
Ma'am, unless there is some legal reason to keep this gentleman, I was going to release him. Is that okay?
Yes,
All right.
yes, yes.
He's
No more, no further
discharged.
questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If I may be excused, Your Honor, the state's next witness is just upstairs.
All right.
Thank you.